Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. Religion and humanity go more or less hand in hand. Before there was science, religion was the most common way to explain the world around us. And the ancient Greeks had an awfully interesting, not to mention entertaining, explanation. But what if the many gods depicted in Greek mythology actually existed? Let's explore. If you want more What If videos, check out our biggest What Ifs playlist on the channel. Now get ready, it's time to ask the question, what if the Greek gods were real? First of all, the world would be full of uncertainty. In a world where powerful beings can break the laws of physics with the snap of their mythical fingers, you just never know what will happen. One minute you could be cutting in front of someone in line, and the next your hair could be made of snakes. Greek gods are nothing if not imaginative. Another likely implication of the existence of the Greek gods is that there would be a whole whack of demigods floating around. As you may remember from history class, the Greek gods had a propensity to come down to earth to get it on with the humans. Famous demigods include Achilles and Heracles, whom you likely know better as Hercules. These demigods could bring about something of a legion of superheroes or supervillains, bringing about a world not unlike that of comic books. For more on that, check out our video, What If Superheroes Were Real? However, in today's culture of Me Too, it could be that the gods would be in trouble for all the trickery that went into their sexy times with humans. Forget Harvey Weinstein, imagine the uproar when a sexual abuse allegation was made against Zeus himself for pretending to be Alcmene's husband. Talk about a power imbalance. Furthermore, if the Greek gods were real, there's a good chance that religions that developed later, particularly the Abrahamic religions like Christianity and Judaism, would not have developed as they did. Considering how petty and vengeful they were in the stories, there's a good chance that the Greek gods wouldn't allow competition from false deities. For more on these last few points, check out our video, What If There Was More Than One God? But that's not to say that mankind would come together in harmony under the Greek pantheon. Groups of humans would probably come together to worship their own patron deity, as we saw in ancient Greece. Ancient Greece had a number of city-states or polis, with the people from each polis worshipping their own god in their own way. Sometimes neighboring polis would have the same patron god, but follow different rules, and sometimes they worship different gods altogether. This often caused some tension between the city-states whose beliefs differed greatly. However, given the current state of the internet, it could be that modern humans would be more open to choosing a patron deity. They could join groups of like-minded people online rather than having one's patron god determined by city of origin. That said, given that religious beliefs continue to be very geographically based even in the age of the internet, it's possible that patron deities would still be largely determined by where you live. This brings up another point. There would probably be a good deal of fighting as a result of conflict between patron deities. We need only look to how identity politics have brought about division and conflict between various groups to know that humanity is still very tribal in nature. Differences of opinion on which god to worship or how to worship them could bring about a good deal of war and conflict between groups of people. This is something we saw in ancient Greece, with interpolis warfare being relatively common. This would also be important on the global stage. If the gods were inclined to help countries that favored them, there would be a good deal of governmental control over which gods could be patrons of certain cities. Countries would want to make sure they had their bases covered. You wouldn't want to accidentally shun Demeter only to have all your crops die the following year. Not only would politicians be concerned with offending their constituents, they would need to appease the gods as well. Furthermore, if the Greek gods were real, that would likely mean that the afterlife described in Greek mythology would also be real. This means that when we died, we would be judged by the three judges of the underworld. Those related to gods or humans deemed righteous or heroic enough would go to Elysium, the wonderful heaven-like area of the underworld. Ordinary people with some good deeds and some bad would be sent to the Asphodel Fields, full of blandness and neutrality. Finally, those deemed wicked would be sent to Tartarus, where they would be punished for eternity. If this was known to be true by humans, there's a good chance that most people would try much harder to live a moral life, for fear of ending up in Tartarus. While the biblical hell, as well as personal moral systems, currently prevents most people from committing evil deeds, the knowledge that you will actually be punished forever if you're a jerk would probably be a bit more effective. This could bring about some change even in the most moral of people. And now we return to our question, what if the Greek gods were real? Well, the world would be a very different place. Angry gods would be doing whatever the heck they wanted, while their half-human spawn acted like spoiled superheroes. People would be fighting to gain the favor of their patron deities, while trying to avoid being sent to Tartarus. Thank you for watching Life's Biggest Questions. I hope this was interesting and informative, and maybe even inspired you to look into it further on your own. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to the channel down below. While you're down there, let me know which of the Greek gods you would worship if they were real. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Life's Biggest Questions, wishing you the best of luck on your quest for answers.